So we're here in Rugby and we're in the van and we're just about to go to Birmingham to see the Metalheads. And out on the driveway here, there's some little old lady taking photos who I think is called Mrs. Brown, my mum. Anyway, there she is. Right. Anyway, time to go to Birmingham and see the Metalheads. Okay, I've made it to Marston Green, which is where the Birmingham Metalheads play baseball. And it's nothing short of a miracle that I got here. My phone credit ran out, which meant my GPS no longer worked, which meant I had to go a bit old school and start asking people on the side of the road where this place was. And slowly but surely I've narrowed it down to just this spot here, and you can see out the window the Birmingham Metalheads warming up for today's game. So let's get the equipment out and find a nice viewpoint. So for any Romahone fans, you've got the Citroen in the background there, and for any baseball fans, you've got the Birmingham Metalheads warming up. Before the match, they're playing over here against the Telford Trojans, who are just getting their muscles moving for the... We're playing a double header today apparently. And it's the first game of the season, so it's a big occasion, and there's even a small crowd. I reckon about 5 or 6 people, so yeah, there's a lot riding on this one. Just going to check out a few different views to see where might be the best place to paint from. I think I've already seen it. We'll see that. Quite a nice view back there. Okay, we've had a break in the painting due to bad weather. It's starting to rain, so the umbrella's up. The game's still going because it's not very heavy, but for the moment I'm trying to keep the painting dry and just watch a bit of the game here. Correction to my earlier video, these guys, the Telford team, are the Telford Giants, not the Trojans. But we've actually got quite a nice crowd gathered at the back now, and apart from this little spot of rain, it doesn't look too bad. Just this area here. I hope it will pass soon. And here's the painting at the moment. Basics are in, plenty to do. So the glorious weather that we've had for the last week has definitely disappeared, and it is absolutely chucking it down outside. So I've got the painting safely into the hut, and it's time for a cup of tea. There seems little else to be done, but if you can see it out here, it's beautiful and green, but it's coming down. So we'll have a cup of tea and see where we are there. Cheers. Hello again. The weather has changed dramatically in the last hour, and it's baking hot sunshine again. Gorgeous blue skies, which means the painting needs to change a bit. It's got a bit brighter. I need to get back to the sky and brighten it up a bit, but it's coming on. We're getting some fans in and the main action. We've got a way to go yet, but luckily the game's back on and it's dry, so that's absolutely key. Here's a little overview of the scene. So we're into our second game here at Marston Green in Birmingham, and it's the I guess the B teams for the Telford Giants and the Metalheads, the Birmingham Metalheads, having a 7-inning game. And it's been put to me, it's more like a practice match, this one, where they can experiment with positions and a bit more training. Here's the final painting, which came out really beautifully today, considering the horrendous weather earlier on. It's brightened up really nicely, and the painting, I'm very happy with the painting. It's not quite finished, but it's just about there. We've got the nice little daisies and beautiful tree line, bit of blue sky, great stuff. So here is the final painting from the game in Marston Green, the Metalheads versus the Telford Giants. And what I wanted to do was just show you the painting a little closer up and some of the details you can see here of the players and the field itself, but also just tell you a little bit about the history, because I think it's really quite fascinating. It's really quite interesting, the story behind Birmingham baseball and the Metalheads themselves. So, as I said, this is Marston Green, and baseball's been played here at Marston Green since 1940, as during the Second World War, hospitals around the UK were used, sequestered by the UK government to be used for the Allies, casualties of the Allies troops, to rest and recuperate and be treated. So there used to be Marston Green Hospital was on this site, and this used to be the hospital grounds, and the patients would use these grounds to get fit and to exercise on. Now, it happened that the unit that was stationed here were the Royal Canadian Medical Corps, and of course there was no ice rinks around for them to play ice hockey, so they started playing baseball. So that was 1940, and the Royal Canadian Medical Corps were at the hospital for over 5 years, and it was called Hospital Number 7 back then. Now, when they left, the diamond here at Marston Green lay dormant for over 60 years, but in 2003 it was revived and rekindled by a baseball enthusiast. Can't find out who that person was, but somebody had the bright idea of bringing baseball back to Birmingham. And first of all, the team were called the Birmingham Maple Leafs, to hark back to the origins of baseball in Birmingham. In 2014, they were rebranded to be the Birmingham Bandits, and just recently in 2020, they've been rebranded as the Birmingham Metalheads. And of course, the Metalheads, there's a big metal scene in Birmingham, or a big heritage of that sort of music in Birmingham, with bands like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, and Godflesh. Now, the Metalheads play now in the West Midlands Baseball League. And an interesting thing is that if you look at their jerseys, you won't be able to see it on here, but I'll show you some pictures in this video. On the jerseys, on the arms, on the sleeve patches, you'll see some of the uniforms have a reference back to the Royal Canadian Medical Corps, where they have the snake wrapped around the staff and a crown on it, and also the maple leaves are there. So this is a team that really understand the history of where they're from, the game they're playing, and the culture and the history of it in the area, and exactly in the place that they're playing. So that's all captured here in this painting, and I'm very pleased to say that's so. I'll try and put in some photos here to show you a few more details of those bits, but it really is really interesting finding out more about Britain and baseball, or British baseball, and how it all started. And I think it's fantastic and very interesting, that cultural, how culture and sport is passed on through different methods. And here, of course, World War II and the hospital being a big catalyst for that.